Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome back aboard the stream boat as we delve into Netflix to find, hopefully, a hidden gem at the bottom of the stream.
That's what we're here for. That's what we try and do every week.
We do.
We're not always successful. In fact, we're unsuccessful more than we're successful.
But that's the fun
Yeah,
part.
exactly. You won't know until you get to the end whether we like this or not. You might be able to gauge our reaction at some point during it. Because this week we're doing a comedy movie. We're well out of my comfort zone. We're doing a movie called Take the 10. Take the 10 was released in 2017. It's a 15. It runs for a very brief 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
And is currently rated at 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
We've been in a very similar zone the last few
just
weeks.
lately, we've been around the
we?
high fours, early fives for
Yeah.
a while now. Yeah, we need to...
But personally, I find that very interesting because although IMDb has the last few weeks for movies at a very similar rating, I have big differences in how I feel about the movies.
Exactly. It's crazy, really, isn't it, when you think about it? Anyway, Take the 10 stars a guy called Josh Peck. He plays Chris, obviously most famous for being in the sitcom Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
Back in the, early 2000s? When he was a teenager?
Maybe even late 90s, yeah.
Late
possibly.
90s, early 2000s. He's done other things since then as well,
He has.
but he's... that's what he's most known for, I think,
He's
the world.
Later this year, he's going to be in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of a
big
deal.
jump. That is kind of a big deal.
Anyway.
It's also, I was watching this film and it's like, you're actually a really handsome man.
He's got a real
There's something about him, isn't
smarm to him, hasn't
Yeah,
he? He sort of raised an eyebrow a few times in this, and I was like,
yeah, you're a bit of all right.
yeah. I don't disagree with you.
Good. Also stars a guy called Tony Revolori, which is a wonderful name. He plays a character called Chester. Most famous, I think you know him from, he's in all of the recent Spider-Man films with Tom Holland. He's in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, he's fantastic in that movie.
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
How has this never come up before? You've got to watch. That's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, I never have seen that movie. I do
It's on
need
Disney
to see
Plus.
it.
Go and watch it. It's brilliant.
I will check it out. Also later on...
I think you'd like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I think you would.
Excellent.
Anyway, carry on.
Okay,
Sorry.
I will check it out. He's also I don't know if it's out yet or not, he's in the Willow TV show.
It is. I think
now?
it's weekly arriving on Disney Plus.
Okay, he's in that alongside Warwick Davis, obviously. And this film also stars, for his third appearance on Bottom of the Stream, Kevin Corrigan.
Yeah.
Plays a character called Danny. Recently, not recently, but over the years, we've seen him in Urge.
Yes.
And Results. He was the lead in Results.
Because it's quite a
Again,
meh name, Kevin Corrigan.
Yeah.
That may not bring anything to mind, but Google the guy. I guarantee you've seen him in something.
100%. Kevin Corrigan has 176 credits on IMDb for acting.
He's not even that old.
No, he's not.
I mean, I'd put him late 40s, maybe something like maybe early 50s. But you will have seen Kevin Corrigan in something.
100%.
TV, movies.
Yeah, he's in everything. Every major TV show over the last 20 years. A lot of films. I'll say most films. Then.
Yeah,
he's not in most films.
of the films.
He's in a lot of films. He's in everything. He's great. He's in The Departed, Pineapple Express. This is just from the top of his IMDb. True Romance, Unstoppable, loads. Law and Order. 1969 he was born.
Okay.
What does that make him?
I'm not in the maths. Can't be bothered.
54.
Oh, yeah.
Written and directed. This film was written and directed by one man. His name is Chester Tam.
Yeah.
He's also in this movie.
He is.
He plays the drug-dealing Jay.
Yeah.
And it's his only film he's ever written and directed. He has directed a few shorts and things like that, but it's his only feature-length film.
Okay.
You might know him. He's in Scream 5.
Right.
Plays one of the cops in Scream 5.
I've not seen Scream 5.
Scream 6 is out next month. I didn't realise it was that imminent.
Yeah, they've really turned it
It's
around quickly.
Flew it around. He's in Scream 5. That's probably the main thing you'll know him from. This film has a budget. Do you want to know what the budget of this movie was?
Oh, I would, yeah.
$2 million.
Okay.
We're given to Chester Tam by Netflix to make this film.
Okay.
So they didn't buy it after it was made. He was commissioned to make this film for Netflix. He wrote the script 9 years before the film was made.
Okay.
And it's interesting that one of the characters is called Chester. So I don't know if it's semi-autobiographical, maybe.
Yes, which would actually... I did notice that. And it did make me think of what the one-word review of this could be.
Go on.
Superbad 2.
Good shout. It's basically as a remake of Superbad.
Yeah.
With a bit more high stakes. Where's this film starting, Nick?
It starts on Saturday, July the 17th at 1:38 p.m.
There's very specific texts all the way through this movie of timings and dates and for no reason.
Well, no.
Chapter headers.
I would argue, with the times and the dates, there is a reason for the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
Because we're getting different viewpoints until everything comes together. But I would also say that they're not really needed because it's very obvious.
Yeah,
we're just seeing the
film's
same
in order.
Time of period from different characters' point of view.
Yeah, it does flit about between the same timeline from different characters' ideas, but it's not complicated.
I don't understand why we change also from like we have a series of title cards on the screen.
Yeah, chapter
cards almost, yeah. Which sort of range from descriptive to what's happening in the movie.
Yeah,
like the first one is the 1997 Toyota Corolla,
because that's what the first bit of the film's about.
But then later on, they
very
just
cryptic.
become sort of quotes from books and stuff.
Yeah, I think I've got them all written down. I didn't bother writing all the dates and times down, but I think I've got all the chapter titles. So
okay,
yeah, they're very interesting.
We're Chester and Chris are in a car.
Yes,
they're driving somewhere.
They are.
That's where this movie starts.
They're talking about actors who give blowjobs.
Yeah, method acting.
Method acting. Would you actually give one if it was part of your acting career?
And Chris says it wouldn't make me gay. If I was blowing you, that was my job.
I'm getting paid to do it.
I'm a good actor.
Yeah. Chester doesn't agree, but that's. I think what they're doing there is setting the tone for this movie from the outset.
I was gonna say, got a chuckle from me straight away. this exchange.
He gets a call. Chester gets a call from Danny at this point as well, who he appears to owe some money to.
Yes, Danny wants his money back.
It does, and he hangs up on him. Chester says,
"You're on your own.
Yeah,
I'm not helping you out.
Call the police if you want to." And then somebody shoots the car window out.
Yes,
and that's the point where the title card hits the screen. Well, not the title card, the chapter header, the 1997 Toyota Corolla, and then it says earlier that day, and then it says 7:14 a.m. They're chucking all sorts of info at us. So we've gone back in time, basically. We're going to see how they got to that stage of why somebody was shooting their car out. Chester is going to pick up Chris to go to work. They're heading to work together. Chris lives in a massive house.
Yeah, it really does.
It really, really does.
Chester's on the phone at the same time as he's arranged a meeting with a guy because he's trying to sell his car.
He's going to sell his car.
Yeah. So they're going to meet, give it the once over, and hopefully do the deal
on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Because Chester wants to go to Brazil.
He wants to leave.
His lifelong ambition is to
set up a life in Brazil.
Set up a life in Brazil with Chris. He wants Chris to go with him, and they will move to Brazil together and set up a life, basically. Yeah. They work in a supermarket called Wholesome Foods.
Yes.
Which is a bit of a play on Whole Foods, I guess, but it's it seems to be like a healthy eating supermarket. And they are talking and working at the same time, discussing their move to Brazil. And
Chester's like, let's go today.
Yes.
Or in the next couple of days. I'm going to sell the car. We can literally go and buy the tickets.
Buy the tickets and just go. And not have any sort of plan, just go to Brazil.
At least a bit of an argument, because Chris is like, no, it's that concert today.
Yeah, we've got tickets to
You
a
said
concert.
you'd come with me to this concert.
Yeah.
I've got tickets.
And Chester's like, I'm not bothered about a concert. I want to get to Brazil. Yeah. He's got this whole plan. He's got the plan to make and produce energy drinks and then sell them back to the United States for a profit.
Yeah, because there's some ingredient,
that's much
natural
cheaper
ingredient that is like pennies in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then they can mark it up and sell it back to the States.
And Chris is not against going to Brazil. He's just not so keen to go today because he wants to go to this gig. Yeah. Chester then gets called into Danny's office.
Who's the boss at work?
Who's the boss? Yeah, this is Kevin Corrigan's character. He's the manager of this supermarket. He has revealed he's kind of busted them for stealing money from them. But in the past, it feels like he's kept it in his back pocket.
Yeah, because they paid him off, I think.
Yeah.
So basically, Danny says to Chester, look, I know it was you and Chris who intercepted this truck worth of food.
Yeah, I think so.
That should have been delivered to the store. But you intercepted it, paid the driver off, and you
sold it to a
contents,
competitor. Basically sold it to a competitor. He also says Chris sold it for a lot more than he told you he did.
Yeah.
He's trying to put a dividing
So your
wedge
friends,
between them.
your friend's done you
Friend
out of a
screwed
load of
them over.
cash.
And he's like, I'm going to call the police.
I'm going to prosecute you.
Yeah. And so Chester's like, don't call the police. I'm about to sell my car. You can have the money for that.
Yeah, $2.5 grand.
$2.5 grand. That's my half at least.
Yeah, and that
sorted.
placates Danny.
Yeah, Danny's like,
Like, okay,
fine,
you give me that money.
no problem.
I won't.
It appears like Danny also needs the money for something as
Yeah.
well, which we find out later on he does. Chester then goes back out onto the shop floor, tells Chris that Danny knows what's going on, and they need to leave today.
He's like,
He's
we're
like, we need to
leaving
leave now.
work now.
Because
Meet me at the airport.
yeah, we need to get to Brazil before
At
Danny
3
gets hold
o'clock.
of this money.
Yeah.
If we pay Danny this money, we can't get there ever.
Yeah. He's
It's
like, I'm going to sell the
true.
car. Meet me at the airport. We'll buy the tickets.
Yeah. And he just
We're never coming back.
fucked the concert,
Yeah.
basically. So Chester leaves the store. Chris doesn't look like too committed.
He's like,
Chris is a bit of a
what's going
dope,
on?
isn't he? He doesn't quite understand
Yeah.
what's going on most of the time. But also he's quite clever as well. He's just one of those
Street
guys that
smarts,
just-
not book smarts.
Yes, basically. We follow Chester home. He loads his suitcases into the car. And then he goes to meet a couple of guys who are... How would you describe these two guys?
I don't know. So he meets a guy called Carlo.
Yeah.
He's got like a South American accent.
Yeah.
Chester presumes he's like
Puerto Rican or something.
Yeah. Flamboyant.
Yes. Very much
OTT?
flamboyant. Very much over the top. And then there's the big heavy with a briefcase as well.
He introduces his cousin Rico. I think
Yeah,
he says
it was
cousin
called
Rico.
Cousin Rico, he does.
And they say, well, can we go for a test drive?
Yeah.
You like the car? Can we go for a test drive? But can you drive?
You
us?
drive it.
There's instantly you think something's up.
Something's definitely not
They
right
both
about
get
these two.
really angry when they open the trunk
Yeah.
and see that it's full of Chester's bags that he's packed
Yeah,
to
they've-
go to Brazil.
That makes them think that he's stolen the car for some
Yeah.
reason.
So they're like, have you stolen this car? It's full of someone else's stuff. Because
Yeah.
they still got a kid's backpack.
Yeah.
And Chester's like, no, it's all mine.
It's
I've
all
told
my
you, I'm
stuff.
going to the airport.
Yeah, he basically wants to sell them the car, but then they've got to drop him at the airport,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And so Rico then empties all the cases and the bags out of the trunk.
Yeah.
And climbs in himself.
Gets in the trunk himself with his
And
briefcase.
Chester's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And Carly says to me, he likes to be alone.
Yeah. He's red flags at this point, surely, because then Chester's
I
like,
thought it
okay.
was a really funny exchange.
It
I
was.
thought Tony Revolori in this bit, and
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was
know who
great.
played Carlo, but I thought they bounced off each other really well. It made me laugh.
As soon as they get in the car, Carlo pulls a gun on him, and he basically wants him to drive and do a crime.
Yeah.
Is basically what we know.
He says, you're the drivers to this address.
Yeah.
Stop when I say stop.
Go when I say go.
Go when I say go. Yeah.
Basically. So they do. They drive up to this pink house. They have an argument whether it's pink or purple.
Yeah.
He stops outside, turns the car around. Rico jumps out the boot. He's got a submachine gun.
Yeah. They
He
shoot
just
up this
house. He gets back in the car, and Chester speeds off at speed.
Yeah.
Basically just been involved in a drive-by.
Yeah. He's the wheel man. In the
Yeah,
drive-by.
basically.
He pulls over a couple of blocks away and just spews
Throws
everywhere.
up everywhere.
Carly says, you can't stop. Why have you stopped? I'm
Yeah.
in charge.
Yes.
Don't stop again.
Yeah. Rico gets out of the boot at that point as well and gets back in the back seat, but chucks all of Chester's
Yeah.
stuff onto the street. Because he
cases
couldn't
out.
fit in the back
Yeah.
seat because he couldn't fit in the boot. So yeah, all Chester's stuff's gone now at this point. And then Chester deliberately drives them into traffic.
Yeah.
So he
on,
drives.
like the LA freeway.
Yeah, he's like, I know a shortcut, but drives them into traffic. And I've written here, he crashes into a douchebag in a Bentley.
Yeah, he deliberately
Yeah.
causes like a fender bender.
Yeah. Because he pulls out in front of this guy, makes this Bentley hit him,
Yeah.
and then gets out of the car and just runs as fast as he can across this traffic. Gets away from them.
And this was our first cameo in this movie. So the guy you got in a fender bender with was Fred Armisen,
It was indeed.
who I think you will most recently have seen in Wednesday as Uncle Fester.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chester runs across the traffic, gets into the side streets, and manages to hide in a bookshop,
Yes, he does.
which is a very weird scene.
Wait, I presume this. I felt like maybe there'd been a deleted scene here.
Yeah,
Because he'd specifically gone to this bookshop and got this knife.
yeah,
that
as if he
was
knew
stashed.
where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we were never given the information that this is like a hidey hole there.
yeah, or it's somebody he knows his bookshop,
Yeah.
or he just went in this bookshop, went behind the counter, got a knife, and left,
Yeah.
and just smiled at some old woman who spotted him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you've said that. It does feel like a really weird deleted scene. But he's got a knife now anyway. So he calls 911 and tells them what's happened, and he sabotages their truck.
Yeah,
because
gets back to where he met them.
Mary
Yeah.
met them, and he
Slashes
bursts
their
the
tyres.
tyres on all of their truck with his knife. Then the next chapter title comes up, and that is The Unintentional Trade.
Yeah.
It's 8:09 a.m. and we're back at the start of the day.
Yes, but
So-
this time we're with Chris.
Now we're with Chris. He gets rudely awoken by his brother.
Yeah.
Another cameo in this movie.
Yeah.
I guess it is a he's got a role, but it is a cameo, isn't it? He's only in one
in
scene.
2 scenes. Yeah.
Andy Samberg
Yeah.
just randomly shows up.
He just beats him up. He's his older
It's
brother.
His older brother just beats him up. He's a bit of a douche. He's got diabetes, so he has to live with his mum and dad.
Well, yeah, but then because Chris walks out into the kitchen. My note says, "I think Andy Samberg is getting injected in his penis."
I think he was. I don't know what was going on, but I think that's
it
what
was
was
like
happening.
Yes, but then he says he's diabetic. I was like, okay, she's not
she was-
injecting his penis.
I assume that she was their
probably
mother.
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually was just like the housekeeper.
Oh, was she?
I don't know though.
I don't know.
I like this scene as well because so this housekeeper type character was like really nice to Andy Samberg,
Yeah.
who is Johnny, the big brother,
Yeah.
and just horrible to Chris.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
So he basically, Johnny sells fake tickets to things.
Yeah, he's
to
a
make money.
loser.
He's a loser.
Yeah.
He's got some fake tickets to a gig that Chris wants to go to.
Yeah.
So Chris steals these tickets out of his safe that's in his bedroom
Yeah.
randomly. And
Because Johnny and the housekeeper are busy playing Rock Band.
they're playing Rock Band, which I thought was quite funny. And they're very good at it as well. So yeah, and that's the point where Chester then turns up outside to pick him up, and we carry on with our day.
I mean,
as we've
it's
already
really low denomination of humour in this movie, but I did quite enjoy it. It's even the little lines where, like, Andy Samberg's character, like, Chris swears.
Yeah.
He, like, calls Johnny a dickhead or
Dickhead
something.
yeah.
And Johnny says, don't use that language in front of Brenda or
Yeah, I
whatever.
did get a
He's
name,
like, don't use that language in front of Brenda, you cunt.
yeah.
And Brenda's just like, yes, Chris, don't do
That's 2 episodes we've recorded tonight. You've said the C word
that.
in both.
Sorry.
Of them.
I haven't said it for a while. It's usually you.
Yeah, it is, to be fair. So then we get a recap of what we saw earlier because we've picked up from where Chester picked Chris up from his house. But we see it from Chris's perspective this time. So Chris at one point tries to sell these fake concert tickets to a guy called Greg who also works in the store.
Yes.
But Greg doesn't want them because he knows that they're going to be fake. And then he scores a meeting on the phone with somebody to meet up with somebody to get some real tickets.
Yeah.
So he steals $800 worth of cash.
Skims the till, yeah.
From Chester's till at work. And he goes and gets his car out of the impound. His car's been impounded. We don't find out why.
It was mentioned earlier.
Oh, was it
that
mentioned
we
We knew it was in the
drive.
impound.
Yeah, yeah.
But we didn't know why it
No,
was
no.
in there. And then he goes to a house and he meets a character called Jay,
Yeah.
who is Chester Tam.
He's a
who
drug
is
dealer.
The drug dealer and is the
And
director
ticket
of this
dealer.
movie.
Ticket scalper.
He's a very intense dude.
A tall, muscly, tattooed.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a shirt.
No.
If
Dude.
I look like that, I would never wear a shirt either. Yeah, he's got a very intense dude, and he has a girlfriend who's also there, who they argue all the way through this now.
I think Jay's character has some bedroom issues,
Yes. Well, we find out for definitely that
Yeah.
he does later on.
but at this stage it's implied
Yes.
because she's like, "You never spend any time with me." Why? And he's working out, watching porn in his
Yeah, in his bedroom.
bedroom.
Yeah. It's a really weird film, this.
There's a lot of stuff thrown at the wall in this movie.
Yeah, basically there is, and it's very intense, and it's very high tempo.
Yeah.
It never stops.
It's a fast 80 minutes.
It is a fast 80 minutes. It felt almost like a Safdie Brothers movie. I was so very chaotic at one point. I was like, oh God, I can't keep
I'm
up
not sure
with
it was
what's
that
going
intense,
on.
but
No,
yeah.
but it's that sort of level. But anyway, this interaction ends up with Chris switching the fake tickets for the real tickets.
Yeah, because
The
Jay
sneak-
goes out.
Jay goes out and leaves his girlfriend to do the deal.
Yeah.
And Chris goes to the bathroom, manages to switch Johnny's fake tickets with Jay's real tickets. And the
he
girlfriend doesn't notice.
He also finds a stash of drugs.
He also finds a massive stash of drugs in the bathroom, which he also takes.
Yeah.
Chris just doesn't give a shit about anything. He just goes through life just taking what he needs.
And then he writes his phone number on Jay's girlfriend's hand.
Yes, and says, call me.
Yeah. He's not making
but-
himself difficult to find. That's
no,
what
he's
I'm
not. But he leaves the tickets with her because he doesn't want them now because obviously he's
saying. He
switched
gives
them.
her the fake ones.
She
yeah.
doesn't know that. Then we get the next title card on the screen. The wholesome food situation.
Yeah.
Sounds like an episode of The Big Bang Theory. And we get the kind of same sort of deal again now from Danny's point of view.
Yeah, so same
morning.
day, earlier in the morning,
Yeah.
from Danny, who's the manager's point of view.
Yeah. He's kind of doing drugs in his office at work,
He is.
which explains why he's such an intense dude earlier on. He also knows Jay.
Jay pulls up in front
Jay
of
pulls up in
the
front.
store.
Well, there's kind of a few flashbacks to Jay
Yeah.
and Danny's interactions before. And then Jay comes into his office. And it turns out Danny owes Jay quite a lot of money.
He does.
And Danny doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't have it all. He gives him...
Yeah,
He says, I'll have it by lunch. I'll have it by 1.
Yeah.
12. 11:30 at the latest.
I'll get it now.
Yeah.
So he goes out onto the shop floor and he takes some money out of the cash registers as well. But it's still not enough. So Jay puts a gun to his dick.
He's basically put $1,000 together, and I think he owes him
Yeah.
$3,000 or something.
Yeah, this whole movie's over $3,000. It's all really intense and like there's a lot of people about to get killed
For
and
a small
murdered for
time.
$3,000. Yeah. So Jay says, look, he points a gun at his dick and he says, I'll give you an hour
To get the rest.
to get the rest. And then in the next scene, Danny's shirtless in his office, pretending to beat up Jay, basically. He's working
Like
out,
psyching himself up.
psyching himself
And
up.
he's also like really pervy with the young girl who works at the...
Really
supermarket.
pervy. Brooke, I think
Yeah.
her name was. And this is the point where he calls Chester in the office and threatens Chester to get the money that we
Yeah.
saw earlier on. So we've all caught up now.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter title hits the screen.
It's like, is this a Bible verse?
I think so. Matthew 24:50.
Don't know what that is.
Do you want to look it up?
I can do. I'm not... My Bible knowledge isn't as good as it
Because I was like, well, the rest of them all kind of made sense, although they're completely unneeded. But this one is very unnecessary. All of them are very unnecessary.
The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and an hour he is not aware of.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because the area manager turns
Yeah.
up. Oh, okay, I'll give them that then.
But why are we
But
suddenly
why?
being
Yeah, I don't know why they're happening. But
biblical?
Chester this chapter opens with Chester returning to the store. Returning completely straight after his meeting with Danny.
Yeah.
He goes back into the store. I'm going to start this whole bit again because I've
It is
completely
after
messed it up. This is Chester turning back up at the store
After
the drive-by
yeah.
shootings happened. And he tells Chris, he's like, Chris, you're not going to believe what's just happened, but I've just lost my car.
We're going now.
I've lost all of my possessions.
Yeah.
We need to get the fuck out of here. But he's like, we can't go to Brazil now because I've got no money and no shit. So we might as well just go to this concert.
Chris is like, look, real tickets.
Yeah, I've got the actual real tickets now. They're not even fakes anymore. This is when the regional manager shows up at the store. Quite out of the blue. Nobody's expecting him.
Yeah, he's like
It's
2
just
days early.
2 days early, yeah. And then randomly, Chester and Chris just go clothes shopping.
Yeah. Because they've got they need some cooler clothes to go
Yeah.
to the concert. And that's intercut with like Danny trying to show how good he is to the area manager in the store.
And the area manager, well, Brooke, I think, reveals that there's some money missing out of Chester's till.
Yeah.
Danny wasn't aware of this, obviously, but he does know that he's stolen some money out of one of the other tills.
Yeah, because this was quite good as well. Because Danny says, "Oh, well, I'm not worried that the till's down because if anything untoward's happened, it'll
We've
be
got
on the
loads of
camera."
Security car
And they-
shit.
Yeah.
He just remembers that.
Remembers that
He's
he
also done
himself
this
has
today, yeah.
stolen money.
So he realizes that I think it was Greg's cash register that he'd stolen from. So he goes to try and wipe the security footage.
Yeah, but he's technically incompetent.
Yeah, he's an old man. And then 2 cops show up at the store, which really freaks him out. And they're asking about Jay. They want to try and catch Jay, and they know.
They say
that
we
Danny
know
knows
he's your
Jay.
drug dealer.
Yep.
We've been watching him, and if you
need to help us, basically.
you help us take him down,
Yeah.
we'll make sure there's nothing comes back on you.
Yeah. And then we head into the next chapter, which is the Battle of Ravenna.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not even following these anymore. Jay gets home after Chris has left and finds out that the ticket swap has happened because he spots straight away that he's now got fake tickets.
Yes, he does.
Rather than real ones. Which makes him confront his girlfriend, who eventually slaps him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that really hurt." So he gets tooled up.
Well, he arms himself up, and she
Yeah.
says, "Look, what's wrong?"
Yeah. Why are you not sleeping with me?
Yeah. Why are you watching porn? Are you gay? Do you want to sleep with other women? What's the matter?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we're breaking up. He
Yeah.
won't talk to her.
Yeah. He won't answer that question. And they split up at this point. Danny then calls Chester, tells him that he owes him $800 more than he did before because the till's down. And this is the point now, right back at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the phone call that was happening just before
Correct.
the car window gets shot through by Jay. So Jay shoots out the car window and he makes them crash their car.
Yeah, shoots out a tyre.
Yeah.
And yes, we now realise they're in Chris's car and he crashes it.
Crashes it, basically. So we're now completely up to date and we can start the movie.
Yeah.
Basically, we've seen the same
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Yeah, 50 minutes in. We've seen the same thing happen 3 times from 4 different people's perspective, really. But now we're right back where we started. And the next chapter starts. And the next chapter is called Lost Tribe. For some reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're lost in the desert. Well, they're not lost. They've got no means of transportation to get to the concert.
No.
But they decide, well, we're partway there. We may as well keep walking in that direction.
Yeah, they argue. They're okay. They survived this car accident, but they're okay. But they do argue quite a lot.
Yeah.
Chester calls Chris a dead weight in his life. And he confronts Chris about the money that they've stolen over the years and whether, did you really rip me off when we stole this money that Danny told me you did?
Yeah,
earlier?
Chris not very convincingly says, no, you got your even cut.
Yeah, we don't believe him. And they seem to walk for hours through this desert. They're in the middle of nowhere.
And then I felt like, again, there was another missing scene.
Yes, I agree.
They come across a roadside memorial.
Yeah, Chris was like, oh, what's that? And walks over towards it. And it's a grave, basically, or a memorial.
Like
in the desert.
Loads of flowers and there's pictures of a young girl. Now, I feel like I'm supposed to know who this is.
Yeah, because it was never referenced.
No.
Nobody speaks during this point. They're both just
They're both
lean over
sad
this
and it's
grave.
an emotional moment.
It brings them back together.
Yeah.
But we don't know who it
It's
is.
never mentioned that one of them had lost someone or...
No, it's
So
never
again,
mentioned.
I feel like something's edited wrong.
Yeah. Plus, Chris goes, oh, what's that over there? So it's not like he knows what it is either. So, I don't know. It was really strange. Yeah, you're right. I think there is some sort of editing thing going on. They get picked up by a car.
Of course.
Because why
Hundreds of thousands of people going to this concert.
Yep.
The only car we ever see,
Drive past them.
someone they know.
Yes. Jay's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who Chris gave them his number to earlier. And her friend.
Yes.
There's 2 girls in the car. So they get him. They get a lift to the concert. There's a lot of flirting going on as well, but there's nothing really happening. They find out, I think the other girl's a stripper, which Chester's quite excited about. So they get to the gig. They're at this concert now.
And in the line to get in, Chris manages to sell quite a few of... He's still got Jay's
drugs that he stole
the moon
earlier.
rocks, and he manages to sell quite a few.
He does,
on the way
indeed. And then the security guard of the gig comes out and says, unfortunately, the gig's at capacity.
Go and get a refund.
If you want a refund for your tickets, head over that way. Does that happen? Surely they're just selling the amount of tickets they need.
Last season
It
in
did.
XOXO.
In XOXO as well.
Surely this is not a good business thing to just oversell your gig
Just
and
sell
then
as many as you
riots.
can. Yeah, because there's a riot breakout now.
Yeah.
It was like watching XOXO again. A riot breaks out and the 2 guys manage to climb a fence and get into the gig.
They do.
It's a completely pointless scene. They might as well have just give their tickets over and gone in.
I quite like this.
same
'Cause,
result
yeah,
would have
Chester says, "Oh, Chris, wait there
Yeah.
before you run off," and then just hits
Smacks
him.
him. Yeah, they argue again and he punches him. And he says to Chris, were you ever going to come to Brazil with me?
Yeah.
And Chris says, no. I had never had any intention of ever going to Brazil with you. I'd never expected you to go, to be honest. And I'm not expecting to go with you ever.
And then they're both sort of,
They both walk off in
we're
opposite
here,
directions.
we may as well. Let's go.
Yeah, because then they
concert.
enjoy the gig together,
Yeah.
as if they've not just had this massive life-changing argument. They're just, there's a montage basically of him enjoying this gig.
Yeah, and getting high.
Getting
on the
high.
supply.
Chester's kissing a guy at one point, which is not implied for the rest of the movie. And then they go to the toilet together.
Again, hundreds of thousands of people at this concert.
5
Outside festival.
Yeah, 5 people at urinal.
Yeah.
Who should walk up behind them?
It's Jay.
Jay, of course. How he's managed to get in with no ticket. I suppose the riot explains that.
No, I think he said he had more.
Oh, did he have more? Okay. Well, there was a riot anyway, so he's got in. And he didn't know at this point, but he's told by Chester that Chris also stole his drugs.
I thought Chester was really funny.
It was because he was high as
Yeah.
fuck, and he just didn't give a shit. He didn't know who Jay was. He's never met Jay before.
And he's like, "You're really old.
Yeah,
You're
he
really
was.
old compared to us.
Why are you here?
Yeah, well, you need to have a hip replacement."
He's like really horrible to Jay. And Jay's
Jay's like, "Are you trying to mind fuck me? Because your mind games won't work. I mind fuck people. You can't mind fuck me."
Yeah.
And Chris is like, "No, he's just Thai."
It's just really. Chris knows who Jay is, obviously, and he's trying to explain. No, Chester's ignore everything he's saying because he's really horrible.
Yeah.
It's like ignore everything he's saying. But Chester also reveals that Chris stole Jay's drugs,
He does, yeah.
which Jay wasn't aware of. Jay didn't know that at this point.
Yeah.
He was already pissed off about the tickets. Now he's double pissed off because of the drugs as well. And it ends up with them fighting.
Because Chester's like, I'm not scared. Look, you might have pulled a gun on us, but only 2% of hold-ups ended up in
shooting.
Someone shot. And then Jay just shoots a guy who's sat in the
Yeah, he just shoots through the
stall.
toilet cabinet, toilet cubicle. But they end up fighting, and they end up with Chester stabs Jay's hand through the floor.
Yeah.
So he pins Jay's hand to the floor.
Yeah.
And there's a really bad continuity error at this point.
Is there?
And I don't know how it's happened. So he stabs it. Jay's got his hand flat on the floor, palm down, and the knife goes through his hand, pins him to the floor. In the very next flash, his hand's that way up.
Oh, the other way up, is it?
The other way up. With the
I
knife
didn't
still
notice
through.
that.
But then you cut back and see him again, and it happens twice more. So his hand's that way round, and then his hand's that way round.
Oh, wow.
But they must have done the makeup and everything
Yeah.
to have it that way round twice. So they must have filmed it both ways round.
Yeah.
And then forgot and just used both because his hand flips over twice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I did spot it, and then when I read this stuff on IMDb later, it's a goof on IMDb.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really, really bad. I don't know how it's happened. But yeah, so his hand's pinned to the floor, and the guys get away from him because he can't get up.
Yeah, and again, there's hundreds of thousands of people at the concert.
It's a big outdoor concert with it. It's got a Ferris wheel and everything.
As soon as Chester and Chris run out of the toilets,
Yep.
they run into the girls.
Yeah. Literally.
What's in the chance?
And they say, shit, Jay-Z, we need to go. So
Yeah.
the girls are like, okay, let's go.
Literally just park the car, guys.
Yeah. But they get instantly back in their car and just drive off as if there's not 100,000 other cars there. I don't know what happens on the way home, but
They're just driving.
They're just driving.
As the sun rises.
absolutely. They drop Chester home first,
Yeah.
and Chris says to him, look, I'm sorry, mate. Here's $1,000.
Yeah.
Which I presume you made from selling these drugs
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
gig.
That's what I took.
Because I was like, where's he had that money from? And then I was like, oh, okay, drugs. So they're not in the best of places. They did fall out earlier in the night, but they're kind of, they're best mates. Shit happens. Next morning at this point now, Jay meets up with Danny. It's like 6:13 in the morning or something crazy. They meets up with Danny outside the Whole Food shop, and Danny gives him all the money that he owes him.
He does.
I don't know where he got it from, but he manages to get it. And then Jay just starts crying on his shoulder, breaks down in front of Danny. Because Danny's like, are you okay? Because I think they might be mates. I had the impression that they were like, there's a relationship there. There's a friendship.
And Jay's like, oh, I just want to be myself. I want to be real around people. And Dan's like, you can be real around me.
Yeah, of course you can. We're mates.
And
he's like, sometimes I like boys, sometimes I like girls, sometimes I like both.
He's like, I don't like labels. I don't want to be
labelled.
I was like, that's quite deep and
it really is
quite nice.
Yeah, it really is. And he was proper crying on his shoulder and everything. And then he tries to kiss Danny.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go down very well. Danny's like, what the fuck, man? You can't do that. Mainly because this is a sting.
Yeah, it is a sting.
Danny set him up, and a load of cops turn up.
Yeah. 3
helicopters.
I think the helicopters was most definitely library footage.
Yes. 3 helicopters turn up for this guy who has only got $3,000. That's all he ever needed. About 8 police cars. There's a whole standoff goes on, but it eventually culminates with Jay getting arrested and taken away in the cop cars.
Yeah.
Danny goes back in the store, starts running the store for the day as if nothing's happened, and then the 2 cops turn back up again later on in the
quickly cut to Chester back at his flat, leaving his front door key on the desk.
We do. We cut back to the store. The day's in full swing at the store. The 2 cops turn back up, and they arrest Danny.
Yeah.
For stealing the money from the till.
$1,800 unaccounted for.
Which the area manager has called the police about.
Yeah. But why has he called the police? Because Brooke
set him up.
Downloaded the security footage and handed it over to the area manager.
Yeah, so we get a few flashbacks of what she's been up to.
She was sick of Danny's behaviour.
Yeah, he was pretty horrible towards her, to be fair. They put him in the back of the car. Who should be still in the back of this police car?
Yeah.
Jay.
They even say you'll be with your new cellmate.
Yeah. They arrested Jay at 6:14 in the morning. So he's been in the back of this car for a long time. Then the film is coming to a swift conclusion. Chester is now at the airport. He's using the money that Chris gave him last night to buy a ticket to Brazil.
Yes.
And he is actually going, even though he's got no possessions or anything anymore. Chris phones him. Chris finds out that Chester's at the airport. I think he's quite happy for his friend to be following his dream.
He's got a wry smile, doesn't he, when he gets the voicemail saying, I've left the country.
I'm happy that he's happy for him.
Yeah.
But he has an opening for a new friend.
He does, yeah.
So he confronts Greg.
He's interested until Greg says he's got no car.
Yes, and then he's not interested
And
anymore.
Greg starts talking about them getting tandem bikes.
Getting a tandem, yeah. And he's like, okay, let's leave that. And Chris puts his hand up for a high five. And Greg puts his hand up for a high five. Chris walks out of the room and doesn't acknowledge this and leaves him hanging. Then we just need to tie up one last loose end. The two gangsters from earlier, they get arrested basically in the Chevy from earlier.
Yeah.
And Chester's plane takes off. Yeah. And the film ends.
There is a post-credit scene.
There is a post-credit scene right at the very, very end of the credits.
Which is just Greg still with his hand.
Yeah, still with his hand up and Chris leaving him hanging.
Yeah.
And that's it. I know to wait for a post-credit scene now on Netflix because when a Netflix film finishes, 3 boxes come up to say, do you want to watch this next? And if they don't come up, and you know there's a post-credit scene coming.
This one wasn't really worth
That's a little Netflix tip for you.
Was it?
No, I fast-forwarded. So I know there's one coming, but it's right at the end of the credits. It's not like after the first bit of credits. It's a post-credit scene. It's not worth it. If you're going to watch the film, it's not worth it. Thoughts?
This film is really messy.
Yes.
But I've got to be honest, I had a fun time.
I don't like comedy films. I didn't hate this film.
Yeah.
There's something charming about it. I don't quite know what it is. I wouldn't say I loved it.
It's
but
stupid.
I definitely didn't hate it. It's really
It doesn't
stupid.
really hang together.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
But I think just on chutzpah of performances,
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of charisma in this film.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a good way to put it. There's a lot
I would
of
say
charisma
across Chester, Chris, Danny, and Jay.
Yeah, good foursome.
They're going for it. To be fair,
Yeah, it's very intense.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the charisma. Some of the quick fire dialogue and jokes. I did like that. I got a few chuckles out of me.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my sort of thing. I'd never pick there's a stoner comedy there. Let's go and watch that. It's not for me, but I didn't hate it.
I feel like Chester
there.
Tam felt like he was making Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which definitely is not.
Yeah, there's a few weird directorial choices in there. You could have played this film through linear. It doesn't need to flick all over the place. You just need to do a few more scenes in line with each other.
But it was a really easy watch.
Yeah, not a lot happens.
It wasn't. It was no trudge at all. It was a really easy watch.
Very snappy 80 minutes. You can see how quick we've gone through it. It took us like half an hour to go through it. But yeah, it's inoffensive. It's fine.
I'm not saying it's great, but
it's definitely not great.
It was better
but
than
it's also
it was
not
better
awful.
than I thought it was going to be.
Me too. Because I was like, this isn't for me. I wouldn't say I was dreading watching it, but I was not looking forward to watching it.
But it's snappy. It's got some good one-liners. It's got good performances, and I think it just gets by on charisma.
Yeah, the two leads especially, Josh Peck and Tony Revolori, their chemistry.
I really enjoyed them both.
Good. Yeah, I did as well. I thought they were really. I haven't seen Josh Peck in a lot of stuff. But I was like, yeah, you're really good at this sort of. You should be doing this sort of thing. Yeah, you should be in these sort of movies, and I don't think he does. He hasn't done as much.
Someone like again, not seen him so much the last couple of years. Someone like Adam Devine, who was all over a lot of these Netflix movies. A couple of years ago, I thought Josh Peck in this had more going for him than Adam Devine in most of those movies. He ended up leading on Netflix.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good shout.
But yeah.
Yeah, overall, it's not my sort of thing,
fine.
but it was fine.
Yeah,
it was not bad.
It was a pleasant way to spend 80 minutes.
Yeah, it flew by.
Yeah,
because it just never stops. It's so intense.
It gave me a bit more than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
What's the best thing about it?
I think it's just the double act of Chester and Chris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're really good. Because I think complemented by the other two as well, and. Yeah, it's definitely not the story.
And it's not the editing, it's not the directing, sorry. I don't want to have
There's a reason why
Chester Tam coming after me.
It's a reason why it's been 6 years and he's not written or directed anything else, I think.
It's the casting and performances, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think you're right. I think for me, it's the reveal of Josh Peck's actually quite good looking. I think that's the best thing about it for me.
It's got a bit of smolder about it.
Yes, it's something about there's something there. I don't know what it is. What would you change about it?
I'm not going to say... I don't want to aim too high, so I'm going to say, can we just tighten up those loose ends of... that felt we had those couple of bits missing? So why were they affected by the roadside memorial?
What was that all about?
And I can't remember what the other
bookshop was.
The bookshop bit, where he had the knife stashed. I'm not going to say rewrite it and make this the film that Chester Tam thinks it is, but we can. The least we can do is tidy up those. I think where it feels like we've got a couple of missing scenes.
Tidy up your loose ends. I think you could move it and make it linear. I don't think it needs to jump around, showing all of Chester's day, then all of Chris's day, then all of Danny's day. I think you can put those scenes in order.
No, and that goes back to what I was saying at the start. Those captions are not needed.
No, the chapter titles are not needed. And then you could put those scenes in order, and it still plays out the same.
Yeah.
And I think you just make it a bit more sensible. It just felt a bit of a mess the way it was.
Yeah, it did.
It was unnecessary.
It wasn't focused.
It was just over-directed, I think is the way you would describe it. Cool. Do you want to talk stream table?
Sure.
This is the 11th film going into the stream table. We're nearly halfway through a season again. What the fuck's going on? Do you want me to read through all of it?
Yeah, totally read through. We've got 10, so you can read through them.
Top 10. 10 currently is Smart Christmas. Number 9 is Needle in a Time Stack. Number 8 is Another Round. Number 7 is The Mansion from last week. Number 6 is The Ledge from the week before. Number 5 is The Cleanse. Number 4 is The Giver. Number 3 is Double World. Number 2 is Nature Reborn. And number 1 is Old People.
Would you like me to start?
I've got a quick question. Why is it called Take the 10?
That's a great question. I hadn't even thought about it.
Nor did I, until I've just come to write it down. I think it might be the line that he says, when he's trying to distract them and put them into traffic.
Oh, yeah.
I think he says, I know a shortcut, we'll take the 10. As in Highway 10.
Okay.
I think that might be where it comes from. But that seems like a really random thing to name this film. But yeah, it's called Take the 10. So do we give it the 10?
What, put it in 10?
It says take the 10, it'll take it.
I mean...
I'm really struggling with this. I don't know.
No, I think I've settled on where I think it should go.
Okay.
For me. I mean... And I'm going to preempt where it goes in this list.
Okay.
Because I would put in... If it was down just to me, I might have it a little higher.
Okay.
But
you're going to preempt my thoughts on it before.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. My first offer, I think, is more than fair, and okay. I would. My start of 10 is that this would go in 6th place.
So under The Cleanse,
yes,
but above The Ledge.
Correct.
Yeah, I have no issue with that. That's probably where I'd go. I don't think it's as good.
I think that's really fair.
Yeah, I think it is. It's not as good as The Cleanse.
It's not as good as The Cleanse. For all the faults in The Cleanse.
Oh yeah, The Cleanse isn't a great film.
Really tried some different stuff.
Yes, The Cleanse isn't a great film. The Ledge isn't a good film.
I enjoyed this so much more than I enjoyed The Ledge.
Yeah, me too.
I almost had fun watching this.
You've banged it right in the middle of our The section.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think that's fair. I don't think I couldn't argue it either way. I don't think I want to put it above The Cleanse. I don't think I want to put it below The Ledge.
I will whisper, personally, I'd have it above The Giver.
Yeah, shut up. You're an idiot.
Take the 10, 6
Take
out
the
of
6.
11. I think that's, right in the middle of this.
Slap bang in the middle.
Forming stream table.
It's nearly halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think there's any argument from that.
Okay.
I don't think anybody could argue that.
Good.
I'm enjoying our stream table this season so far.
Yeah, me too.
Do you want to pick next week's film?
Let's
get another one in there.
Do it.
What would you like to see?
I think I've said this the last few weeks. I still don't think we've really had an action film.
I still don't think we have.
We've not had a full on action film.
No, we've not. Shall we see if we can get one?
Yeah.
Should we call out Robin?
Yeah, let's do it.
it has picked a movie called The Legacy of a White-Tailed Deer Hunter.
Catchy.
Catchy title. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
I don't even remember it ever going on the list.
It's not ringing any bells whatsoever.
No, same. It's a Netflix original. Do you want a synopsis?
Yes, please.
It's another comedy.
Okay.
Comedy drama, although this one is. The great hunter, Buck Ferguson, and his trusted cameraman, Don, set out for an epic weekend adventure to reconnect with Buck's young son.
Okay, fine.
Do you want those in it?
Yes, please.
Josh Brolin
Oh, wow.
and Danny McBride.
Oh. That's not bad.
It's also got Montana Jordan in, who was he plays the brother in Young Sheldon.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's also a guy in it who's just called Cowboy.
Oh, brilliant.
That's his name.
Brilliant.
Not even like his character name. It's just his name. Written and directed by Jodie Hill. Came out in 2018. It is another Netflix original. I've never heard of that.
No,
I'm
I'm
not going to lie.
No.
So, go out and watch The Legacy of a White-Tailed Deer Hunter. Catchy title. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Our usernames are at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, loads of other cool stuff, all the stream tables, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Go-kart.
Go-kart? I'd love a Bottom of the Stream go-kart.
That would be amazing. We could get two and race them.
Let's do that, like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, for a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you will get a wild card, which means you can pick the film that we watch. We give Robin a week off. You pick the film, and then if you might win a prize at the end of all that. And then after you've done that, head into the Discord. The Discord is a lively group of fun people who will talk to you about anything from movies to TV shows to anything you want to talk about.
Life.
We play games. We do watch-alongs. We do live chats. There's all sorts of cool shit goes on in the Discord. The Discord link will be on the bottom of the show notes.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review or a rating anywhere you can review or rate podcasts, because it really helps get the word out there about our little show. And whilst our community is amazing, we would like to grow it and make new friends.
Absolutely.
I love making new friends.
Me too.
Let's make more.
Let's make many, many more new friends.
So you can review or rate us anywhere that you can find podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Podbean, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all of those, and many, many more.
Yes, if you find any we're not on, let us know and we'll get on them. Yeah, and if you're listening to this right now, go and tell everybody you know to listen to it as well, because it's just fun. We love doing it, and we want more people to listen to us doing it.
Yeah, listen to us doing it.
That sounds weird. Tell your mum, tell your friends, tell your nan. Then when you've done all of that, go out and watch The Legacy of a White-Tailed Deer. Hunter. I think that's what it was called. The long titles throw me off. And we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for the movie show.
Cheers.
Bye.